highs approaching 92. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 64. Upper 80s Thursday with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Turning cooler Friday with highs in the low 80s. Chance for storms continues. A peek at the extended shows. 87 Saturday, 89 Sunday, and 89 on Monday. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley, and that's your updated forecast from Southwest Iowa's weather source. Currently, it's 84 degrees.
And good evening from Atlantic. Tom Robinson alongside with you tonight as the Atlantic Trojans host the Creston Panthers in Hawkeye 10 Conference action, as we have a live video stream at westerniowatoday.com and on the radio here at 95.7 FM. Creston comes in at 11-4 in the year. Atlantic 10-4 on the season. These two teams met prior. Creston beat Atlantic the first time out. Special night tonight. It's Hall of Fame night here in Atlantic. Is we're going to see the induction of Shelley Glenn Pellet being inducted into the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about her a little bit later on, as that induction is just moments away here at Atlantic. Broadcast brought to you by Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll. Also brought to you by the First Whitney Bank, the only bank you'll ever need, First Whitney Bank. Body Basic, call 254-BODY to get your body back to basics. And the Seed Pros, by your side to maximize yields from the word go. Your Pioneer Pros, John Becker, Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, and Nick Knutson. Also brought to you by 2nd Street Auto, your transmission pros, Cass Health, the neighbors caring for neighbors, and Outfitters Plus Outlet Store, your home for personalized sports apparel in Atlantic. Also brought to you by the Super Bowl. Grab the gang and head to the Super Bowl for Glow Bowling every Friday and it's Saturday night. And Swida, they're safe, reliable Swida for all your transportation needs. Stein Seed, Stein has yield. Contact Darren Petty, your local Stein representative. Also brought to you by Hy-Vee, bakery, a deli, meat department, a grocery department, and pharmacy. Always there for you, your Atlantic Hy-Vee. Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned full-line CarQuest retail store in Atlantic. And Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, a hometown bank for hometown people, a member FDIC. Also brought to you by Greg Young Automotive Group in Atlantic. They go the extra mile for you. And Olson's BP, a great food, Godfather's Pizza, and quality BP fuel that keep you going company. Olson's BP in Atlantic. And Aaron Friend, Principal of Financial Securities. Aaron Friend, Principal of Financial Securities, now located inside Snyder and Associates in Atlantic. Creston out to warm
equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Whitney Bank is the longest-standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Whitney Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Welcome Welcome back to Atlantic. Tom Robbins alongside Bill Saluk, our live video stream videographer tonight, our general manager and vice president, taking time out to help us out tonight, and really appreciate that. Is the Atlantic Trojans and the Creston Panthers face off tonight in the second meeting. They faced off last week, and Creston, with 4 home runs in that game, defeated the Trojans by the score of 9-2, and now they're back at it here tonight in the second round here between these two teams. We look at Creston this season. They beat Harlan a doubleheader to start things off back on May 27th, 15-0 and 12-8. They topped Woodbine 6-2 and 11-3, and they were off to a 4-0 start until they met ADM. And the Tigers got the best of the Panthers 7-4 in that non-conference game. Ballard then was a victim to Creston 7-1. Winterset beat the Panthers 14-2, and then Creston beat Lewis Central a doubleheader 9-2, 7-4, and that is what Atlantic is coming off of, is that win over Lewis Central last night. They beat Atlantic 9-2, Glenwood 8-0, and they lost to Ankeny Centennial in the Jaguar Invite by the score of 6-3, and they lost to Ames that same tournament 11-1. They were coming off a doubleheader win over Denison Sleswig, 14-6 and 10-0. That was last evening. Again, 11-4 are the Panthers coming in. They're 8-0 in the conference, 5-0 at home, and 6-3 when they're on the road. When you look at Atlantic in the preseason, they defeated Missouri Valley in the opener. Or lost to Missouri Valley, rather, 9-7. They came back to beat Glenwood 6-2, Ballard 5-2. They took Denison Sleswig in a doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon, 6-0 and 13-3. And down Harlan on the road, 12-0, 8-1. And they lost to Creston, as you mentioned, 9-2. They beat Shenandoah at Shen, 13-2. And then last Friday, they hosted Esterville Lincoln Central, and Esterville defeated the Trojans 4-2. And Carlisle topped the Trojans 7-1 in that contest. Over the weekend, Atlantic beat Exira EHK Audubon in that tournament. They just got one game in. It was rained out. After that, they beat the Exira HK Audubon Spartans 10-4. And then last night took Lewis Central 5-3 and 11-2. And a Hall of Fame night tonight here in Atlantic. And we're going to have that ceremony with Shelley Glenn Pellet coming up here in just a little bit. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. We're back with more pregame after these.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Welcome back to the pregame here in Atlantic as the Trojans now take the field for their warm-ups. We'll have the ceremony of the Hall of Famer coming up here a little bit, and the starting lineups. When you look at the Hawkeye 10 Conference right now, Creston 11-4, Clarinda 10-2, Atlantic 10-4, Lewis Central 9-5, Kemper even at 7-7, Glenwood is even at 6-6, Shenandoah 4-4, Denison Sleswig 3-9, and Red Oak 2-8, St. Albert 2-7, and Harlan at 1-9. That is through last night. That's your Hawkeye 10 Conference. Creston coached by David Hartman, assisted by Gracie Hagel, and assistant coach Peyton Rice. For Atlantic, Terry Hinsman, longtime head coach, and assisted by Derek Handel, and also assisted by Molly O'Hara. Atlantic taking infield right now. now, as we take a look at that infield, we're going to see a little bit different of a lineup tonight. We're going to see Lila Wiederstein will not be starting the game. She's sitting with kind of a nagging injury. We don't know the extent of it, but will not be starting. May see her play a little bit. Olivia Knuth came in against Carlisle and took over those catching chores for Lila Wiederstein. But defensively for Atlantic, it's going to be Peyton McLaren in the circle. Olivia Knuth catching for the Trojans. At third will be Claire Schroeder. Zoe Kirchhoff at short. McKenna Sontag, who had a home run last night at Lewis Central, will be at second base. And Jillian Satoff at first. Dylan Ball on the right. McKenna Schrader in center, and Madison McLaren will be in left field for the Trojans. We will see DH. It's going to be Annika Darrow will DH for the catcher Olivia Knuth in the Trojan varsity lineup. Creston, who just finished their warm-ups, Taryn Fredericks will be in the circle for the Panthers. Ava Adamson will catch. Kennedy Strider at first, Avery Staber at second, Mila Coons at short, Evie Marlin at third, Cora Smith in left, Jersey Foot in center, and Sasha Worster is playing in right field. The boys' baseball game also getting ready to go here shortly. Atlantic hosting the Creston Panthers. Thursday night, we will have high school baseball right here in Atlantic. We'll have the Glenwood and Atlantic game. In fact, we had Atlantic at Glenwood here a couple of weeks ago, and what a game that was. It went into extra innings, and Glenwood did win that by a run, but it was a thriller at Glenwood here a couple of weeks ago. We'll be back with more pregame. The lineup's coming up here shortly in our ceremony right here at 95.7 FM and our live video stream, WesternIowaToday.com, TV and YouTube, powered by Nishdanet.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. Or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Welcome back to Atlantic as the Trojans wrap up their warm-ups. Atlantic comes in after 14 games, hitting .311. They were up around .340 here earlier on. They settled in at .311 here. As far as their average, Zoe Kirchhoff off to a great start, hitting .490. Reese Ball, who has not had that many at-bats, hitting .500, and probably you'll see her hit. In fact, she had 2 hits last night in that doubleheader against Lewis Central, and so she's off to a good start. Lila Wiederstein hitting .525, and not sure we'll see Lila here in this game here this evening. Well, the Trojans are going to come out on the field right now, and we're going to have the ceremony, the Hall of Fame ceremony. Our public address announcer, Bryce Smith, will be announcing our Hall of Famer, Shelley Glenn Pellet. She joins the ranks of Joel Sims, Betty Jo Shopey, Sharon Hoffman, Michelle McLaren, Christy Wright, Angie Jenkins, Claire Markham, Karen Hoffman, Mel Ellen, Missy Worth Gergen, and Rhiann Capel in the Atlantic Softball Hall of Fame that was started by Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman here some time ago. And Shelley and her numbers are just absolutely outstanding, as she is going to be honored as one of the finest pitchers inducted into this Hall of Fame this evening. Shelley started for Atlantic from 1990 to 1992. She was a dominant force in the pitching circle, a 3-year varsity starter and letter winner, and she set a standard of excellence that still stands decades later. In her sophomore season, that was 1990, Shelley posted a 10-5-1 record, facing 402 batters over 98 2/3 innings. She struck out 60 and allowed just 11 earned runs, finishing the year with an incredible .78 ERA, the lowest single-season ERA by a Trojan pitcher in over 50 years. She earned all Southwest Iowa District honors and was named All-State Honorable Mention. Now, Shelley continued her strong performance in 1991, pitching 51 2/3 innings and striking out 31 batters. She allowed only 8 earned runs, allowing recording a 1.7 ERA, which still ranks 13th in program history. And that year, she was named unanimous first-team All-Conference. Her senior year in 1992 was equally impressive. Shelley threw 11 shutouts, struck out 146 batters, including 12 in one game, and finished with a .92 ERA, the second lowest in school history behind her own record-setting mark. She was once again a unanimous first-team All-Conference selection and earned another spot on the All-Southwest Iowa District team. Following high school, Shelley continued her softball career at Southwestern Community College and Grandview Christian University, where she achieved a perfect game. And for the past 29 years, she has worked at Midwest Eye Care in Council Bluffs. Shelley and her husband, Brett, remain passionate supporters of the Trojan softball program. And really, softball entirely is they rarely miss a College World Series. They were in Oklahoma City here this last, a couple of weeks ago as well, as Shelley, we can see in our video here, being recognized here this evening. Her family is here as well, and Shelley just to the left of to Coach Hensman's left, and the Atlantic Trojans behind Shelley as she's being introduced here tonight in front of this crowd on Hall of Fame night here in Atlantic.
First team All-Conference and was part of the All-Southwest District team. After graduation, Shelley continued her softball career at Southwest Iowa Community College and Grandview University, where she recorded a perfect game. For the past 29 years, Shelley has been employed by Midwest Eye Care in Council Bluffs. She and her husband Brett continue to be a huge supporter of the Trojan softball program. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Shelley Glenn Pellet, the newest member of the Atlantic Trojan Softball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, congratulations to Shelley Glenn Pellet as the crowd gives her standing ovation. Well deserved. And that will be it for that ceremony. Hopefully, Shelley will come up. We have talked to her about that she may be coming up, and we can talk to her also between innings or even during an inning. Maybe we'll have her help us out with some commentary and play-by-play. Hey, we're going to take another 1 minute to break. We're back with the starting lineup, so that's coming up next.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor. On behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep you going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep you going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
Coaches' meeting is over, and we're getting set for the starting lineups. So we'll take a look at Creston here right out of the gates for the Panthers. They'll lead off with Ava Adamson. She'll be the catcher for the Panthers. Batting second, Avery Staber. She'll play second base. Batting third, Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher for Creston. Adamson, Staver, Fredrickson, the first three. Batting cleanup for Creston, Jersey Foot, the center fielder. Batting fifth, Evie Marlin, the third base person. And batting sixth, Mila Coons. She'll play shortstop. Batting seventh, Sydney Staver, the DP. She's batting for Cora Smith, the left fielder. Batting eighth, Kennedy Strider at first. And batting ninth, Sasha Worcester. She's out in right field. Ava Adamson, Avery Staver, Taryn Fredrickson, Jersey Foot fourth. Evie Marlin fifth, Mila Kuhn sixth, Sydney Staber seventh, Kennedy Strider eighth, and Sasha Worcester will bat in the ninth spot for the Panthers. And we've got their numbers through their first 13 games. We don't have it up to date from the last two, but we can give you a good idea. This team is hitting .361 on the season, and they have some power with four. In fact, they've got 3, 8, 9, 12, 13, 16, 17, 19, 23 home runs. So far this season, in the first 15 games, the Panthers are 11-4, hitting .361 as a team, on base percentage of .430, and a slugging percentage of .672. They do hit with the power. For Atlantic, they're going to lead off with McKenna Schrader, the center fielder, batting second. Claire Schroeder at third. Batting third, Zoe Kirchhoff. She'll be at shortstop for Atlantic. Again, Schroeder, and Kirchhoff, 1, 2, 3. Batting fourth, Dylan Ball, the right fielder. Batting fifth, Annika Darrell, the EP. And batting sixth, Peyton McLaren, she'll pitch for Atlantic. Batting seventh, Jillian Satoff at first. Batting eighth, Madison McLaren in left field. And batting ninth, McKenna Sontag. She is at second base. As I mentioned earlier, McKenna had a home run last night against Lewis Central, and that doubleheader win for Atlantic. Schrader, Kirchhoff, the first three. Ball cleanup, Darrell, McLaren, 4, 5, and 6. Satoff, 7th. McLaren, Madison, 8th. And McKenna Sontag bats in the ninth spot for the Trojans. In the circle will be Peyton McLaren for Atlantic, and she's off to a really good start. McLaren is 5-2 in the year. She's pitched 44.1 innings, and she has split time with Zoe Kirchhoff, who has 37 innings under her belt. Teams are hitting .208 against McLaren, and she has struck out 36 batters, walked just 6. She's allowed 14 runs on 36 hits, 10 earned, and has an ERA of 1.58 coming into the game tonight. We'll have our national anthem, and we'll keep it right here. have the opening pitch coming up right after this 1-minute timeout on 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com, TV, and YouTube, powered by Nishnanet.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Group and Oakland Wealth Management are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Peyton McLaren wrapping up her warm-ups. Avery Adamson will lead it off. Avery Staver and Taryn Fredrickson for Creston here to start off the top of the first inning here in Atlantic. A nice crowd gathered here tonight, and all across the berm from left field to right, we have folks in the lawn chairs here this evening. So the leadoff batter is Ava Adamson. Adamson hitting for 564 on the season. She is off to a tremendous start, leading the team in average at 564. She is 22 of 39, 17 RBIs, has 5 home runs. First pitch is high for a ball. The count is 1-0. We're underway here in Atlantic. Defensively, the catcher Olivia Knuth, the pitcher Peyton McLaren, Jill Lesatoff at a first, second McKenna Sontag, and it's short. Zoe Kirchhoff, third. Schroeder. Here's the pitch. That's a strike outside corner. Count 1-1. Good spot for McLaren as we're just underway here in Atlantic. Ava Adamson, Avery Staver, and Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher, will be the first 3 batters for the Panthers here in the top of the first inning. McLaren gets the sign. Here's the pitch coming in. Swung on a hot shot down the third baseline, and it goes foul. The count goes to 1-2 as McLaren works ahead in the count. And McLaren, as we mentioned, off to a really good start this season. The Circle, her ERA is at under 2, 1.58. She's allowed just 14 runs, 10 earned. Pop fly, right side, that's going to drift out of play. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. McLaren 5-2. She's started 5 games. She plays shortstop when she's not pitching. And the teams are hitting 208 against her so far this season. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ava Adamson here in the top of the first inning. Here's the sign, the pitch. That one is in the dirt. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adamson, the right-handed hitter for the Creston Panthers. And she is hitting well over 500. What a clip for Adamson here this season. She's battling right now, 2 balls and 2 strikes, a 564 hitter. She only struck out 4 times this season and walked 5. 2-2 pitch coming in. That's high and away. 3-2 the count to Adamson here in the top of the first inning. Trojans play Adamson straight away and deep in left center and right field as well. 3 balls and 2 strikes. McLaren the sign. Here's the pitch coming in. Swung on, popped up. Sontag, the second base person, looks. Right fielder comes in. Dylan Ball dropped the ball. It popped out of her glove, and Adamson just kept on running, and she gets to second base. So
up to bat next for Creston.
Ball was there,
second baseman,
and she had it just popped out. And Adamson reaches on the error at second base for the Creston Panthers. Nobody one on and nobody down here at the top of the first inning. And Avery Staver will step in, a right-handed batter for Creston. Staver hitting .300 of the year through the first 13 games. Adams to the second base for Creston. And the pitch coming in, that's a strike called. 0-1 the count. That was a routine pop-up. Ball had to come in a little ways. And she was there. It just hit the heel of her glove and popped out. Adamson at second. Staver at the plate. Here's the 0-1. That's low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher, is on deck for Creston. Fredrickson off to a 7-2 start in the circle for the Panthers. When we see her for the first time in the bottom of the frame, that pitch is swung on and popped up. Knuth coming over against the wall, and it's not playable. And McLaren works ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes in the top of the first inning. Game just underway, and Hall of Fame night here in Atlanta. Congratulations to Shelley Glenn Pellet for being inducted, the latest inductee into the Atlantic Hall of Fame. McLaren, the sign from Knuth. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit to right center field. Ball is there. Back and can't make the catch. On to third base goes Adamson. And Staver is out. And the sacrifice is Adamson that goes on to third. So nice job by Dylan Ball that time, as she had to go back and to her right a couple of steps and made the catch over her head. And now there's 1 down here in the top of the first inning with Adamson tagging up at third base. Taryn Fredrickson at the plate, the pitcher for Creston. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball. The count is 1-0. Jersey Foot is on deck. Fredrickson hitting .350 on the year. She's 14 of 40. She scored 4 runs. A couple of home runs this year and 16 RBI. And she's got a runner at third. That's Adamson. Here's the pitch coming. Line drive. It's high and right, and it's going to go out of play. And the count is 1-1 to Fredrickson. Jersey Foot, the center fielder, on deck in the cleanup spot for Creston. With a runner at third base and 1 out. Adamson reached on an error, got to second, and then went to third on the sac fly by Avery Staver. Now Fredrickson trying to drive her home here at the top of the first inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to count with Adamson at third. McLaren gets a sign from Knuth, a big hole up the middle. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. And the count is 1-2. She might have got a piece of that. Just tipped it back, 1-2 the count. 1 on and 1 out for Creston, threatening here in the top of the first inning. They beat Atlantic 9-2 last week. McLaren looks in and gets a sign. Here's the 1-2 offering coming in. Just missed away. Count goes to 2-2. Foot, the on-deck batter, hitting .324. As you mentioned earlier, this team is hitting .361 through the first 13 games. 2-2 the count with Adamson at third, 1 out. Fredrickson at the plate. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, hit up the middle, base hit. That'll be an RBI. Adamson scores, and on to second base goes Fredrickson, and she gets a sliding double for the Panthers and drives home a run. And Creston with the lead, 1-0 here at the top of the first inning. An RBI double for Fredrickson, and Adamson scores from third base.
Number 4, Jersey Foot, the center fielder.
So Foot will step in with a runner at second and 1 out in the top of the first inning.
Sophomore.
And for Fredrickson, ends up at second base with a double and drives in her 17th run of the season, as Jersey Foot will step in with 1 on and 1 out and 1 in the top of the first inning. McLaren looks at the first base dugout and gets a sign from Molly O'Hara, pitching coach, and Foot will stand back in, a right-handed hitter. And the pitch on the way, swung on and tapped fouled on the third base side. Count 0-1 to Jersey Foot. Right-handed batter hitting against right-hander Peyton McLaren, hitting .324 as Foot. She struck only 4 times this season and walked 5. She has 8 RBI and a chance to drive in a run with Taryn Fredrickson standing at second base. 1-0 Panthers here in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. That's the strike outside corner. Nice pitch by McLaren. And now the count goes to 0-2 with Fredrickson at second. Adamson reached on an error, went to third on the sac fly, and scored on Fredrickson's RBI double. Here's the 0-2. High for a ball, count of 1-2. Trojans have McLaren, Madison and McLaren in left. Younger sister of the pitcher, Peyton. Schrader in center, Dylan Ball in right. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Jersey Foot with Fredrickson at second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for McLaren. Big K right there for the righty.
Brings in third baseman senior number 9.
2 down, and Evie Marlin will stand in as Payton with a strikeout for the Trojans. Marlin, a right-handed batter. McLaren just recorded her 37th strikeout of the year. 1 on and 2 down and 1 in for the Panthers. They lead 1-0, top of the first. The pitch coming. Swung on and fouled straight back on a good cut by Evie Marlin, the third base person for the Panthers. Fredrickson stands at second base. Marlin hitting .400 on the year. His 16 singles on the season. There's the pitch. Swinging and a miss. Throw back to the center. No balls and 2 strikes to Marlin. McLaren working ahead here with 2 down at the top of the first inning. Fredrickson with an RBI double at second base. Evie Marlin back in, top of the first. And the 0-2 pitch, there it is. Swung on and fouled straight back. And Fredrickson has to retreat back to second base. I've corrected. Sidney McDonald is running for Fredrickson. Marlin is running for Fredrickson at second base. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swung on a chopper to short. Scooped up by Kirchhoff. Guns it over to first base, and they get the out of the hopper. Nice job by Satoff at first with the scoop. And that's a 6-3 play, and that'll be it for the Panthers. But they score 1 run on 1 hit. So 1 Atlantic error. We're through 1 half. Panthers 1, and the Trojans coming to bat in the bottom half of the first are back in 60.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Junior center fielder, number 7, McKenna Schrader.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the bottom half of the first inning, and the Trojans down a run. The Panthers scored 1 run and 1 hit, 1 Trojan error, and it's 1-0. As McKenna Schrader will lead off for Atlantic, and then Claire Schroeder, and it's Zoe Kirchhoff for the Trojans. Taryn Fredrickson in the circle, gets the sign, wings it in, that's popped up. Shortstop is there, and the catch is made by the Creston Panthers. 1 pitch and 1 out as Mila Coons is there to make the grab for Creston. Schroeder will stand in for Atlantic. So Schrader pops out on a pop to short. Coons there to make the grab. 1-0 Panthers. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. And the batter is Claire Schroeder, the third base person. Fredrickson wheels and deals, and that's the outside for a ball. Count is 1-0. Schroeder went right after that, or Schrader rather, went right after that first pitch for the Trojans. Claire Schroeder, third baseman, batting in the second spot, hitting .244. The pitch, high for a ball. Count goes at 2-0 to Schroeder. Schrader, who just popped up, hitting .317 on the season. Schrader was 13 of 41 coming in. The pitch, that's a strike. 2-1 the count to Claire Schroeder with Zoe Kirchhoff on deck, hitting .490 on the year is Kirchhoff. Atlantic hitting .311 as a team through the first 14 games. The pitch, swing and a miss, and the count goes at 2-2 to Schroeder. Fredrickson, a right-hander, has some pretty good speed. Big gap between short and second up the middle. They play, otherwise in the outfield, they play Schroeder straight away. Changeup is low for a ball. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Schroeder, with Zoe Kirchhoff in the on-deck circle for Atlantic. Nobody on, 1 out for the Trojans. Bottom half of the first, 1-0 Creston. Fredrickson gets the sign and brings the pitch. Here it is on the way. Swing and a miss. Fredrickson with the strikeout, and there's 2 up and 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the first inning. Now Zoe Kirchhoff will step in.
Zoe Kirchhoff.
Kirchhoff, a right-handed batter for the Trojans against the righty Taryn Fredrickson, hitting .490. She's on base percentage of .473 and a slugging percentage of .784. She has 20 RBI, 21 RBI in the year, 2 home runs, a triple, 7 doubles. Pitches outside. The count is 1-0 to Kirchhoff, as Fredrickson will not throw Zoe anything good here. 15 singles for Kirchhoff. She's 25 of 51. She scored 14 runs. The pitch swung on and missed. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Kirchhoff, the junior. Evie Marlin at third, Mila Coons at short, Avery Staver at second, Kennedy Strider at first. Fredrickson in the circle. Here's the pitch to Adamson. Swing and a miss. And the count 1-2. That one high and in. Handcuffed Kirchhoff. She went racing after it and whipped it. Now a 1-2 count with 2 down in the bottom half of the first. Nobody on. And the 1-2 pitch is on the way. High for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fredrickson looks like she is in a groove there in the circle for the Panthers. 2-2 the count to Kirchhoff. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back. Kirchhoff stays alive for the Trojans. Zoe pitched to Jim last night against Lewis Central, and Pay McLaren as well. They teamed up to get that doubleheader win over the Titans. Here's the pitch coming. That's swing and a miss. They drop third strike, but they'll step on the bag and get the out. 3 up and 3 down for Atlantic. We head to the top of the second. 1-0 Panthers.
Creston in the lead.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Want your back at the shop? We talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
By name. Stop in and talk to one of our dedicated loan officers to see what we can do for you at one of our 12 area locations. Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Welcome back to Atlantic. 1-0 Panthers. We go to the top of the second inning, and Shelly Glenn Pellet will join us here this inning. And congratulations on being inducted to the Hall of Fame, and very deserving. What's that like for you?
To be completely honest with you, when I agreed to do this, I didn't know I was going to be this overwhelmed.
That pitch is a strike called as we're underway here in the top of the second inning. And batting for the Panthers, Mila Coons, a shortstop, and Sydney Staver and Kennedy Strider for Creston. Here's the pitch coming in. That's a ball inside. I mean, your ERA, unbelievable. 10-5-1 your sophomore year. And .78 ERA. How much time was spent working on your pitch with your dad on the bucket all those years?
Dad on a bucket and throwing to a concrete wall.
And that's how you pop up is fouled off and not playable there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, and you know, what was working for you? Talk about your pitches. You know, what was the combination to have that kind of an ERA?
I wasn't a power pitcher. I like to hit my spots and had a great defense, which helped get me to where I was, or where I am.
Yeah, the lowest single-season ERA by a Trojan pitcher in half a century. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled back, and then you just back that up again with an outstanding performance in 1991, 1.7 ERA, and then you came back your senior year, 0.92 ERA. Do you have any idea how many pitches you threw in your career?
I have no idea. I know my body hurts now for it. When I get up in the morning and my hips hurt, maybe that's why.
McLaren fires from the outside edge, swung on and missed, and there's 1 out here in the top of the second inning, and Sidney Staver will step in. Second strikeout for McLaren. Talk about the support you had. Obviously, you had some good teammates, some good defense behind you as well.
Had some great teammates. I knew if a ball was put in the air, I either had Missy or Abby in the center field, and one of them was going to run the ball down for me, and had Shannon at first, and I had Sarah at third, and I just had Dina. I had a great defense. I cannot say enough about the defense that I had.
Staver, the batter, here in the top of the second. 1-0 Panthers. They scored 1 run on 1 hit. Changeup is high for a ball. Besides all your accolades, what were some of your highlights in your 3-year career?
I enjoyed playing the tournaments in Des Moines. I think they were a lot of fun. You got to see better pitching. We got to see better hitting. It's just, I remember we beat Urbandale when they tried to put 8 slappers at us one night. Oh, get her.
We've got a rundown here, and the Trojans are going to get the out as Staver hit a ground or a base hit to left. Good throw in by Madison McLaren, and then they ran her down, and pretty good play by the Trojans.
Yeah, it was a great play. Sorry, I started to commentate there.
You're fine. And so the out, and that'll give it 2 outs as they clean the bases here in the top of the second inning. Stride of the batter, Atlantic trailing 1-0 with the top of the second. Talking to Shelley Glenn Pellett, the recent Hall of Famer and the inductee here this evening. Here's the pitch on the way. High strike called outside edge. What do you think of the Trojan pitchers? Talk about McLaren's stuff here.
Looks pretty good. I thought maybe she should be getting some other calls, but that's how it is for a pitcher. You always think you should get the calls.
0-1 pitch. That one slice foul. 0-2 the count.
Great pitch right there on the inside corner.
So, how young were you when you decided, and how do you decide to become a pitcher?
Well, funny story. Dad and I were just talking about this on Sunday. I have 2 of his sisters took me to the College World Series when it used to be in Omaha, the Women's College World Series in 86 and 87, and I came home and said, Dad, I'm going to be a pitcher.
Pop up, caught. That's it for Creston. Atlantic goes to bat in the bottom half of the second inning. We'll keep it right here. So let's talk. So you went to College World Series. What inspired you?
Shawnee Andaya pitched for Texas A&M then, and she threw 48 innings in 4 days, and I think gave up 1 earned run if I found my books properly and read that correctly. So it was just astounding to see what she did, and they didn't have all the pitch counts and all that they do now. You could throw as many pitches as you wanted as long as you were in shape and your legs were in shape.
So how old were you, Shelley, at that point?
86, 87. It had probably been 7th grade. Yeah.
So what advice do you have for the youngsters to be a future Hall of Fame pitcher? What's it
Put
take?
your work in. Yeah. Yeah, put your work in. And when I came to Atlantic, my junior and senior years, Dad set me up with a pitching coach in West Omaha on Sunday mornings, and I would throw 1.5-hour lessons, not just 45-minute lessons. And so when I got out of school, I did pitching lessons for a long time here too, and just put your work in, put your time in.
Just really a great honor for you, and very, very deserving here this evening. You also go to the College World Series about every year.
This was our 20th year.
Okay, and I mean, that's just amazing to watch.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. We'll at the bottom of the second inning. We'll keep Shelley right here if she doesn't mind. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed in the count. 0-1 to Dylan Ball hitting for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. 1-0 Panthers. They got that run in the top of the first on Fredrickson's RBI double. 0-1 the count to Dylan Ball. Here's the pitch on the way, swing and a miss Fredrickson up 0-2. She's got some pretty good stuff, too.
She does have some good stuff. She's got good velocity, and she can put the ball up. And unfortunately, we're chasing it right now.
0-2 the count to Dylan Ball, leading off for Atlantic in the bottom half of the second inning. And here's the pitch coming in, swinging and a miss. 0-2 count, and now goes down. 3 straight strikeouts now for Fredrickson. She works quick and she works fast.
She does work quick.
Annika Darrow will step in, the DP for Atlantic. Batting for
36 for the Trojans.
the catcher, Olivia Knuth. Well, Lila Wiederstein checked that, is going to bat for Atlantic, so we weren't sure if Lila was going to play or not, but she's going to hit for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the second inning. 1-0 Panthers with the lead. They beat Atlantic 9-2 last week at Creston. And a quick turnaround between these two teams. In fact, Atlantic will go to Creston this weekend for a tournament. Here's the pitch coming into Lila. Here it is. Low and in. The count is 1-0. Wiederstein with an outstanding batting average here this season, hitting .525 on the year. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Wiederstein, one of many all-conference players in the lineup here this evening on both teams. 2-0 the count to Wiederstein, and then McLaren on deck. Peyton for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. And the pitch coming. Low and in. We saw Oklahoma, who's been dominating. Texas Tech was kind of a Cinderella team, huh?
Texas Tech was a Cinderella team. Nija Kennedy coming from Stanford and changed their program around this year.
Pitch is low and in, and Wiederstein draws the walk. So she'll go to first base for Atlantic. 1 on and 1 out for the Trojans, bottom of the second. And Peyton McLaren will step in. Looks like Wiederstein is going to run at first for the Trojans. And Peyton McLaren will step in. Right-handed hitter for the Trojans. Peyton hitting .205 on the year. Now we're going to have that pinch runner for Wiederstein. That's going to be Reese Ball. Reese had a couple of hits last night in that doubleheader win over Lewis Central. So McLaren will stand in. Reese Ball, the runner first, 1 on and 1 out. 1-0 Panthers. Trojan side of the second inning. Here's the pitch on the way. That's a strike called. One the count. Coaching staff back in the day for you was
Joel Sims.
Joel Sims, yes.
Yeah, he was a head coach, and I believe I'm trying to remember who our assistants were. J.D. Cool was a assistant 1 year.
Yep.
Corey Rhodes was an assistant 1 year. I'm trying to think if maybe Barb Olson, was she maybe my assistant on my sophomore year, I think.
0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back. Good cuts by McLaren. I think Coach Sims started the program. In fact, he's in the Hall of Fame as well. No balls and 2 strikes to Peyton McLaren here in the bottom half of the second inning. Jillian Satoff is on deck. Ball at first. The pitch line straight back. What about your bat?
My bat was mediocre. Let's be honest.
You spent a lot of time working on throwing, huh?
Yeah.
0-2 the count to McLaren. Reese Ball at first. Here's the pitch. Inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Peyton McLaren. Ball struck out. Annika Darrow was hit for by Wiederstein. She drew the walk. And Reese Ball, the runner, at second for Atlantic. McLaren at the plate. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back again.
Headache.
Well, it's great to have you up here. Anything else you want to add about the evening and the award?
That was very, like I said, very overwhelming, but I appreciate the award. I appreciate all the accolades everybody gave me and everything. So, yeah, it's been very nice.
Pop up. First base per second base person going out and getting the play. And there's 2 down for Atlantic as Staver made the catch. Well, Shelley, thank you for coming up. Appreciate you and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
You bet. Congratulations to Shelley Glenn Pallett, who is the Hall of Famer for the Atlantic softball program. 2 down for the Trojans. Bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. Foul straight back. Trojans getting some good cuts here. We'll see if they can get something straightened out as Satoff at the plate for Atlantic. 1 on and 2 down. As McLaren popped out. Here's the pitch to Jillian. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. 3 strikeouts for Fredrickson so far for Creston. She struck out 3 straight, 2 in the first, then 1 in the second to lead this inning off. And a walk and a pop out. Satoff fouls it off. The count is 0-2 to the sophomore for Atlantic. First base person doing a great job at first. She's had a number of stretch plays, able to get it out by inches. Here's the pitch coming in, and it is swung on and missed. And Fredrickson gets her 4th strikeout of the ball game, and that's it for Atlantic. No runs, no hits, no errors. They left 1, and we're through 2 innings. Creston with the lead, 1-0. We're back right after these.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Olson Fuel Supply, the keep you going company.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the top of the 3rd inning, and the Panthers with the lead, 1-0. Sasha Worcester, the 9th hitter in the lineup, will stand in, then the top of the order. Here's a pitch by McLaren, low and away. Count is 1-0. Panthers 1 run and 1 hit. Made McLaren, or 2 hits rather, a double and a RBI in the first and a single left in the second. Karen Fredrickson had that RBI double driving home Adamson at the top of the 1st inning. Here's the pitch coming, that's low and away. 2-0 the count to Worcester, the right-handed batter for the Panthers. Adamson, who reached an error and scored, is on deck for Creston here in the top of the 3rd. A 1-0 lead. Fredrickson with a no-hitter early on. 2 hits for the Panthers. Here's McLaren. And the pitch on the way. Fastball is a strike. Count 2-1 to Worcester. The right-handed hitter for the Creston Panthers. McLaren looks in and gets the sign from Coach Molly O'Hara. And the pitch. Swung on, hit towards second. The one hopper to Sontag, scoops it up and gets the little room service there for Sontag. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. The one hopper and Sontag there to make the 4-3 play. Adamson will stand in.
Ava Adamson.
Adamson reached an error in that 1st inning. Went to second and then scored on Fredrickson's RBI double. 1-0 Panthers, top of the 3rd. Adamson, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch by McLaren. Tapper right back where it came from. McLaren knocks it down, fires the first. 1 pitch, 1 out. 2 up and 2 down. Creston, top of the 3rd. And Avery Staver will step in, who flew to right her last time up. Again, congrats to Shelley Glenn Pellet. We thank her for taking the time with us here as well. What a career she had in the circle. And her advice to the youngsters, put the work in. 2 down, and Staver will stand in, the second baseman for Creston. McLaren whipping right along here in the 3rd, brings the pitch. It's high for a ball. And the count is 1-0. Worcester ground out to Sontag at second. Adamson, a ground ball to McLaren in the circle. Staver at the plate. Top of the 3rd, 1-0 Creston. Here's the pitch. That's a strike, and the count 1-1. Nobody on, 2 down for the Panthers. Taryn Fredrickson on deck for Creston. Fredrickson has one of the 2 hits, Staver the other. And that's Sidney Staver has a single. Here's the pitch. Low and in. And the count goes to 2 balls and a strike to Avery Staver here at the top of the 3rd inning. Sun's starting to set off in the west after a pretty warm day today. 82 degrees still our temperature. Here's the pitch. That's outside. 3-1 the count to Staver after 2 quick outs. McLaren falls behind. Here's Staver with the pitchers where batters count here will stand in. A hitter's count for Staver. 3 balls and a strike. Peyton McLaren looks in and wings in the 3-1 pitch. It is high for ball 4. So Peyton walks Staver. Panthers stay alive at the top of the 3rd inning with 1 on and 2 down. And Taryn Fredrickson will step in. Add that RBI double back in the 1st inning. A right-handed hitter with a runner at first. That's Avery Staver. McLaren in the circle, set to go. The sign, and here's the pitch on the way to Fredrickson. Off the handle, pop up. McLaren makes the grab right in front of the circle, and that'll be it for the Panthers. No runs, no hits, no errors, and they left 1 after 2.5. Panthers with the lead, 1-0. Back in a minute.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And Matty McLaren, McKenna Sontag at the top of the order for the Trojans. 1-0 Panthers. 1 run on 2 hits. And for Atlantic, no hits so far. And they've had just 1 base runner, strike cold to McLaren, the right-handed batter for Atlantic. In the bottom half of the 3rd inning. 8-9 in the top of the order for the Trojans. And Taryn Fredrickson just moving right along here. Pitch coming in, swing and a miss. And the count is 0-2. Fredrickson struck out 3 straight. She has 4 strikeouts, 1 walk so far in the game. A pop-up and a walk. Here's the pitch coming. Changeup is high. And the count is 1-2 to Maddie McLaren with Sontag on deck. McKenna hitting her first home run of the year over the center field fence against Lewis Central Iowa Western last night. 1-2. Swing and a miss. 5th strikeout for Fredrickson as she K's the Trojans' leadoff hitter in the top of the 3rd inning. McKenna Sontag will step in. Nobody on and 1 out. 1-0 Panthers. McKenna Schrader on deck, the top of the order for the Trojans. Atlantic with just 1 base runner so far in this first 2 1/3 innings. That pitch is a strike called. 0-1 the count. Fredrickson stays ahead of the count, just throwing strikes, hitting her corners, has a nice changeup. 0-1 to Sontag. Schrader on deck. The sign, the pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-2. The count to Sontag, the senior, the lone senior for Atlantic on this squad. Atlantic in their black pinstripe uniforms with gold trim. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 straight strikeouts again for Fredrickson. 6 strikeouts here in the ball game, and she's got a no-hitter going with Schrader coming to play in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Panthers up 1-0. 1 run on 2 hits, a single, and a double.
Moves us to McKenna Schrader.
So Schrader popped up the shortstop. Mila Coons, her first time up. Panther defense playing her straight away in center, left, and right. Here's the pitch on the way. Outside for a ball. Count 1-0. Frederickson, a right-hander, facing right-handed hitter McKenna Schrader for the Trojans. 1-0 pitch coming. Pop up center field. Over comes Foot, and Jersey Foot makes the grab. She had to come to her left quite a ways, but a lot of air underneath that one allowed Foot to get to it. And that'll be it for Atlantic. They go down in order. 1, 2, 3. And Panthers lead 1-0. We are through 3 innings of play. Back in a minute.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
In Atlantic, stop by today.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the top of the fourth, 1-0 Panthers, and a shout out to Daryl Paulson, who is watching the game in Jewel, Iowa. Hello, Daryl. Thanks for tuning in. Here's the pitch coming. It's fouled off by Jersey Foot, who just made that play out in right center field. A Foot the cleanup batter for Creston. Struck out her first time up, Evie Marlin, and then Mila Coons. For the Panthers, count 0-1, 1-0 Creston. We're in the top of the fourth inning. McLaren has pitched a 2-hitter so far. Here's the pitch. That's just outside, and the count is 1-1 here in the top of the fourth inning. Panthers beat the Trojans 9-2 last week. They're facing off again here tonight. Here's the 1-1. Slice foul, straight back, 1-2 to Foot. Marlin on deck. She ground out to short. And Kuntz will bat for the Panthers, struck out swinging. McLaren with 2 strikeouts and a walk. She's given up a double and a single here in the ball game. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch swung on and ripped to left. Madison McLaren will knock it down in left field, and she'll rifle into second base. Third hit for the Panthers is Foot singles to left field. And the leadoff hitter's aboard for Creston here in the top of the fourth inning. And Evie Marlin will stand in for Creston. Marlin, a right-handed hitter for the Panthers. 1 on and nobody down for Creston here in the top half of the fourth inning. They've got a 1-0 lead. David Hartman, head coach for Creston. McLaren set to go. Marlin at the plate, Foot at first. Here's the pitch. Changeup is high for ball. The count is 1-0. Clarinda won that conference a year ago at 18-2 and 33-8. Creston was 17-3. They were second at 20-16. And Atlantic finished third at 16-4 and 27-13. The point being, those 3 teams are in command again this season. The top 3 teams in the league, swing and a miss, 1-1 the count. They're going to battle it out for the title again, it looks like, early on. And Creston with 3 returning all-conference players, Taryn Fredrickson, Ava Adamson, and Jersey Foot. Fredrickson hit .349 last year, Adamson .442, and Foot .376. That pitch is swung on, hit to right center field. Over comes Dylan Ball and makes a nice catch for Atlantic in the gap. And there's 1 down, and Marlin, or Jersey Foot, has to stay at first base. And Marlin flies out to right. Nice job by Dylan Ball in the gap. She got a good jump on it. and was able to run it down at right center field. And when you look at Atlantic, they have 3 first-team all-conference players back, and Lila Wiederstein and Paige McLaren, Zoe Kirchhoff. Second-teamers McKenna Schrader and Jillian Satoff are back. That pitch is swung on and fouled back by Mila Coons, who struck out swinging her first time up. Wiederstein hit .556 last year, 4 home runs, 48 RBI. McLaren hit .344, had 2 home runs and 13 RBI. Kirchhoff hit .429 with 9 dingers and 57 runs batted in. What a year Kirchhoff had. She's having another great year this year. 0-1 pitch, high and in. There goes the runner, and a stolen base for Jersey Foot. She's at second with 1 out here at the top of the 4th inning. And a 1-0 Panther lead. McKenna Schrader was second-team all-conference at .327. And Jill Satoff, the Trojans' really steady first base person, was second-team all-conference, hitting .308. So some really good players for both these squads here tonight. And the batter is Sydney Staver, hitting .300 on the year. Runner at second base, 1 out. 1-0 Panthers with the top of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Center field, McKenna Schrader there makes the grab. 2 down.
Top fly in the center
so a fly ball to right and a fly ball to center.
Atlantic.
And Foot with a stolen base at second base after a leadoff single. And Sydney Staver, who singled her last time up, will stand in with 1 on and 2 down and 1-0 Panthers. Staver, the DP, a rod-headed batter. Hitting for Cora Smith, the left fielder. 1 ball, or 1 on and 2 down. McLaren set to go. The pitch. Low and away. Ball 1. Staver, rod-headed batter. City hitting .300. 6 of 20 for the first 13 games for the Panthers. 1-0 the count. Wood at second base as McLaren takes her time, and Staver says that's enough, and she steps out. Takes a couple of whiffs and gets back in. 1-0 the count. Top of the 4th, 1-0 Panthers. 1 run and 3 hits. Here's the pitch. Swung on and Tapper to third. It's foul. Now the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike to Sydney Staver. Struck out just 4 times. 6 walks, 4 RBI, 1 home run for Staver. She has some power. Has a triple and a double. This season, 3 singles, make it 4 with that hit earlier. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a hot shot to third. Schroeder scoops it up, fires to first for the out. And that's it for the Panthers after Jersey Foot had a leadoff single. McLaren retires the next 3 in a fly out, and a ground out. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's a 1-0 lead for the Panthers. We're back right after these.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor. On behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
Times roll.
We go to the bottom half of the 4th, 1-0 Panthers. Schroeder the batter, swings and misses. Claire Schroeder, I should say. Schroeder, Kirchhoff, and Dylan Ball will bat for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 4th. A no-hitter for Fredrickson so far. She's allowed only 1 base runner. That was a walk to Wiederstein on 4 pitches back in the 2nd inning. 1-1 the count to Schroeder here in the 4th. Trojans looking for base runners here. They're down by just one. Here's the pitch, high and away. And credit Atlantic pitcher Peyton McLaren, the defense, for hanging in there. 2 balls and a strike. Claire Schroeder, the right-handed hitter. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Chopper right back to the pitcher. She knocks it down, fires to first. Frederick's going to get the out. Schroeder almost beat it out. That was a chopper that bounced out of the glove of the pitcher, Frederickson, but she's able to gather it and fire to first for a 1-3. And there's one down for Atlantic in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Chad Reek, good to have him along as well, the GM and owner of Creston Radio. Here's the pitch coming, swing and a miss. What a night for Frederickson. No going on so far, only one base runner. Kirchhoff, the batter. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Pop up center field. Back goes Foot. She's there, makes the grab. And there's 2 down.
Brings in number 10.
Dylan Ball will step in. Ball struck out swinging in the back of the second. 1-0 Panthers. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Ball, a right-handed batter. Frederickson moving right along here. Here's a pitch that's popped up first base side, and over comes the Strider just out of her reach, and the count is 0-1. Frederickson has worked ahead to about every Atlantic batter except for Wiederstein in the second, as we mentioned. She walked her in 4 pitches, and rightfully so, with Wiederstein batting .525 coming in. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts here in the ball game. 0-1 pitch on the way. Curveball. It's a strike and a swing and a miss. What a beauty by Frederickson. The count is 0-2. Dylan Ball. Atlantic needs some base runners here. Looks like Annika Darrow is on deck for the Trojans. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 down. The pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. Ball got a good cut at it. Dylan Ball hitting .370 in the year. She's 17 of 46. Struck out her first time up, 17 of 47 on the year. No balls and 2 strikes, bottom half of the 4th. 1-0 Panthers. Frederickson wings it in. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Frederickson. A no-hitter through 4 innings. We're back in 60 seconds with the 5th coming up next.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Creston leading Atlantic 3-2 in the baseball game. They're in the bottom half of 3rd. And right here it's 1-0 Panthers. Frederickson with a no-hitter going through 4 innings for Creston. McLaren has pitched well. Allowed 1 run on 3 hits. And the batter for the Panthers here in the top half of the 5th inning, leading off is Kennedy Strider, the 8th hitter in the Panther lineup. The pitch is swung on and popped foul straight back and into the stands. Strider, then Worcester in the top of the order for Creston. 8-9 in the top of the order. Strider popped up to the first base person, Satoff, her first time up for Creston, a right-handed hitter. Hitting .375 coming in. Fastball drops in for a strike on the outside edge. And the count is 0-2 as McLaren works ahead. McLaren's allowed a double and 2 singles, and she has 1 strikeout, 1 walk here in the game. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way to Kennedy Strider. Off the handle pop. Shortstop Kirchhoff in the green and makes the catch.
Catch made by the shortstop.
1 down for the Panthers here at the top of the 5th. The batter is Sasha Worcester, who ground out to second her first time up. Number 9 in the lineup. And Ada Adamson will stand in. Leadoff hitter. Nobody on and 1 out. We're in the top of the 5th inning. McLaren goes to work. Here's the pitch. Curveball outside. Count is 1-0 to Adamson, then Avery Staver and Taryn Fredrickson for the Panthers here in the top of the 5th inning. 1-0 Creston. Adamson, righty gets righty here as McLaren. Looks in, and Adamson's going to step out. 1-0 the count. Adamson reached an error in that first inning, went to second on the drop fly ball and scored on Fredrickson's double line drive foul right side. 1-1 the count. She ended up on second base on that drop fly ball. Then Avery Staver flew to right. Fredrickson then hit a double and scored Adamson. The only run of the game. 1-1 the count. We're the top of the 5th. The pitch. Popped up. Shallow center. Schrader comes in. She's got it.
Center field ball is caught by
2 down.
Junior. That's McKenna Schrader.
2 up and 2 down for the Panthers. Here comes Avery Staver. Flew to right and walked to the 3rd. The only walk given up by Peyton McLaren. 1-0 Creston. We're on their side of the 5th inning. 1 run on 3 hits. McLaren back to work against Staver. Then Taryn Fredrickson on deck for Creston here in the top of the 5th inning. We've got a time call as we get another softball in. Both pitchers pitching gems here. Fredrickson has a no-hitter going through 4 innings, allowing just 1 base runner. Staver at the plate. Nobody on, 2 down. Here's the pitch. That's a strike outside corner. The other count is 0-1 to Staver. Flew to right and walked in the 3rd, was left at first base. No balls and a strike, top of the 5th. Peyton McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. And here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back. McLaren working ahead 0-2. You talk about McLaren, Fredrickson working ahead. McLaren's done a really good job of that as well. 0-2 the count to Staver. Each pitcher's walked a batter, and Fredrickson has 7 strikeouts. Count is 0-2. And looks like we had a ball come into the field. I think that came from way up top. It did. It came. They're up there. It came to the top of the Washington Hill here. There's a fly ball deep center. Back goes Schrader. Nice play by Schrader to end the inning.
Great play by Schrader.
Great jump on it. She had to go right back to the track. She made the grab right there at the warning track for Atlantic, and that'll be it for Creston. No runs and no hits, no errors. They go down in order. We're through 4.5, and the Trojans come to bat in the bottom of the 5th, trailing 1-0, and still looking for their first hit of the game.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Winnie Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. Is Atlantic at the plate now and trailing the Panthers by the score of 1-0. Fredrickson's thrown a no-hitter so far. The pitch coming in, that's outside for a ball. Annika Darrow at the plate for Atlantic, the DP. Darrow McLaren, that's Peyton, and Jill Satoff. The pitch to Darrow. That's a strike outside corner. 1 ball and a strike. We're in the bottom half of the fifth. Panthers up 1-0. 1 run on 3 hits. Atlantic looking for the first hit. Only 1 base runner for the Trojans. There's a swing and a miss. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fredrickson with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. She's had a string of them. Here's the pitch to Darrow. Swing and a miss. Strikeout to number 8 for Fredrickson. And Peyton McLaren, the pitcher, will step in for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the fifth. 1-0 game. McLaren popped up her first time up. Satoff on deck. She struck out. Fredrickson goes to work. Here's the pitch on the way. Foul ball left side. Count 0-1 to Peyton McLaren. Getting just over 200 on the season for Atlantic. Julian Satoff in the on-deck circle. Satoff had a home run last week in that game against Harlan, that doubleheader. Atlantic had 4 home runs in that game. The wind was blowing across the field. And Atlantic tagged 4 homers in that game. Satoff had 1 of them. The batters, Peyton McLaren, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on off the handles, fouled straight back. 0-2 to Peyton McLaren. Getting 205 on the season. She was 9 of 45 now as she popped up her last time up. Fredrickson goes to work, 0-2 the count to Peyton. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Fredrickson.
Brings in number 14.
What a game she's had.
That's Jillian Satoff.
Jillian Satoff at the plate. And you look at Fredrickson's strikeouts. She had 3 straight, then walked, batter. Hitter popped up 3 straight. And then she had 3 straight again at the end of the 4th. And 2 here in the 5th. That's a strike called 0-1 to Satoff. Nobody on and 2 down for Atlantic. 1-0 Panthers. We're in the bottom half of the 5th. Jillian Satoff at the plate. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. 1-1 the count to Jill Satoff, the right-handed hitter, hitting 190 on the season. Satoff 8 RBIs. She has 1 home run, 7 singles, swings and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on. 2 down for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Here's the sign. And the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 4 straight Ks for Fredrickson. She strikes out the side for Creston. We go to the top of the 6th. And the Panthers with the lead, 1-0.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
We go the top of the 6th inning. Panthers with the lead, 1-0. 1 run on 3 hits. Fredrickson now a no-hitter through 5 innings. He's only allowed 1 base runner. The Panthers come to bat in the top of the 6th inning. Frederickson had an ERA of 1.91 coming in. And that was for the first 13 games. The other two we don't have numbers for, but she was 7-2 through the first 13. The Panthers are 11-4. Atlantic 10-4. 1-0 Panthers. They've got the best of the Trojans first time out 9-2 last week. Here's the pitch coming in. Frederickson line drive. Shortstop Kirchhoff is there to make the catch. And there's one out here in the top of the 6th inning. So the Trojans get a big out there on a liner to Kirchhoff at short.
The Panthers, number 4,
Jersey Foot.
Jersey Foot.
Jersey Foot will step in for Creston with nobody on and one out and a 1-0 lead. We're at the top of the 6th inning. Foot and then Evie Marlin will bat for Creston. They play her deep in center, right, and left. McLaren's pitch is in. It's outside for a ball. Just missed on the outside corner. Third base, Schroeder. Shortstop, Kirchhoff. Sontag at second. Satoff at first. 1-0 the count to Foot. 1 for 2. She struck out and singled in the 4th, stole a base. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch by McLaren. She worked outside, goes back inside. The count is 1-1. Evie Marlin on deck. She ground out and flew out. Foot stands back in, a right-handed batter for Creston. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and high fly ball. Shortstop Kirchhoff in the green makes the grab. She hit the liner. Now that one sky high, and she brings it in. 2 up and 2 down for Creston, top of the 6th. 1-0 Panthers.
Batting next for Creston, number 9. That's Evie Marlin.
And Evie Marlin will stand in. 0 for 2 so far this evening. She's made contact with a ground out to short and flew out to right. 1-0 Panthers. We're in their side of the 6th inning. McLaren. The sign wings it in. That's a strike. Count 0-1 to Evie Martin. Mila Coons is on deck. Should Marlin get on deck? So far, the Panthers 2 up and 2 down here at the top of the 6th inning. The count 0-1. McLaren looks over to get the sign. Atlantic will have tomorrow night off. They'll be home against Glenwood on Thursday. The pitch swung on and sliced foul. Creston has Red Oak on Thursday in a doubleheader. And they host their own tournament this weekend. The John Stevens tournament. Atlantic will be in that tournament as they are every year. It's a very, very competitive tourney. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Hit her. You hit Marlin. So a hit by pitch with 2 down. And now the Panthers have a runner at first with 2 out of the top of the 6th inning, and they have a 1-0 lead. And Mila Coons, the shortstop, will step in. Struck out and flew to center. Struck out the second, flew to center in the 4th inning. Evie Marlin at first base for Creston. Bade McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. Here's the pitch, low and in. There goes Marlin on the drop ball. And the Panthers have a runner 120 feet away at second base. Coons, a right-hander against the righty, Bade McLaren here at the top of the 6th inning. Panthers by a run, 1-0. McLaren the sign, she'll wing it in. That's swung on and missed. And the count is even at 1-1 to Coons. So Marlin hit by a pitch. Went down to second base on the bobbled pitch by the catcher for Atlantic. The batter is Coons. Here's the pitch coming, low and in. And there goes Marlin on to third. Now she's 60 feet away. An insurance run for Creston. 2 balls and a strike. Marlin at third. Coons, the batter for the Panthers here in the top of the 6th inning. 2 balls and a strike. And Olivia Knuth goes out to talk to Peyton McLaren, and Coach Hartman will visit with his batter, Mila Coons. Knuth will head back behind the plate. 2 balls and a strike to Coons. The only run coming in the top of the 1st inning. Adamson reached base on an error. In fact, she got to second. And then Taryn Fredrickson hit the RBI double. And that scored Adamson. That's it for the scoring here in the game. And Frederickson has a no-hitter going through 5. 2 balls and a strike to Coons. Marlin at third. The pitch on the way, swung on, ripped to left. That drops in for a base hit, an RBI. Marlin scores for the Panthers.
That's a base hit.
And it's a 2-0 Panther lead. Coons with the 4th hit of the game and an RBI for Creston. And Sidney Staver will step in, 1 for 2, a single back in the second, and ground out of the 4th inning. 1 on, 2 down, and 1 in. 2-0 Panthers here at the top of the 6th inning. So Staver at the plate. Coons at first base. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, ripped to left, base hit. As the Panthers doing some damage with 2 down, back-to-back singles. Coons will cruise to second. Staver will hustle down to first. 2 on and 2 down for the Panthers and 1 in. And the batter is Kidney Strider. A couple of pop-ups here in the game. The first heading into short. We're going to have a runner for Creston. And Coach Hinsman's going to go out and talk to his troops. And while he does, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a minute on 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
To book your party today, the Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Meeting over in the circle, and the batter's going to be J.C. Hansen for the Panthers with runners at first and second and 2 down. And 2 in. We're the top of the 6th inning. Creston up 2-0. So McLaren back to work, and all this done with 2 down. Fredrickson lined out, and Foot popped out, and then Heavy Marlin hit by a pitch. Coons drove her home with a single. Staver's single. Now Hansen, the batter, looks at one outside. The count is 1-0. Coons at second base. Staver at first for Creston here at the top of the 6th. McLaren in the circle. Panthers with a 2-0 lead. The pitch. Low and away. And the count is 2-0. Hall of Fame night here in Atlantic. Baseball game is 3-2 Creston. And the Trojans batting in the bottom half of the 4th inning there. Good game going on. Here's the pitch, change up high and away. McLaren falls behind 3-0 to the pinch hitter J.C. Hansen. Hitting for Strider, who popped up a couple of times here in the game. Coons at second base, Staver at first. 3-0 the count. McLaren wings it in. Here's the pitch. That's a strike. 3-1. Hansen, hitter's count here for her, the pinch hitter. A junior hitting .364 on the year, 8 of 22. 3 balls and a strike with runners at first and second and 2 down. Top of the 6th, Panthers up 2-0. The pitch swung on and fouled straight back. Count goes full. McLaren fell behind 3-0. Comes back with 2 in the zone. And now the count is full to the pinch hitter, J.C. Hansen. Coons at second, Staver at first. McLaren in the circle for the Trojans. 3 balls and 2 strikes to side. The pitch swung on, fouled straight back. Hansen stays alive. Hansen batting for the 8th hitter, Yeti Strider. 3-2 the count after falling behind 3-0. McLaren 3 straight pitches in the zone. Here's the 3-2 pitch with 2 on and 2 down. Here it is, swung on a tapper down the third baseline, foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. An error on Hartman at third. Head coach missed it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're at the top of the 6th inning. A big hitter here. Hansen at the plate. Panthers, 2 runs and 4 hits. Fredericks with a no-hitter so far for Creston. Here's the pitch. Ball 4, bases loaded. Hansen draws the walk. Coons goes to third. Staver to second. Hansen, the pinch hitter, goes to first.
Creston, that's Sasha Worster.
Sasha Worster will step in with the bases jammed here at the top of the 6th inning. 2-0 Panthers. Second walk given up by McLaren here in the ball game. Worster, a right-handed hitter. The 9th hitter of the lineup, and that pitch is a strike on the outside corner. A beauty by McLaren. Worster hitting .333 in the first 13 games for Coach Hartman of the Panthers. 0-1 the count with the bases loaded. Coons at third, Staver at second. Strider at first, the pitch. High for a ball, or Hansen rather. Hitting for Strider at first base. 1 ball and 1 strike to Worster, then the top of the order with Ava Adamson. He scored one of the 2 runs for the Panthers. Evie Marlin the other. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss and a changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes as McLaren tries to get out of a jam here at the top of the 6th inning. All this coming with 2 down. Marla hit by a pitch. She scored on the RBI by Coons at third. Staver singled. She's at second. Hansen walked in. There's a fly ball to left. McLaren coming in. Madison makes the grab, and the Trojans able to get out of there with just a run. The bases were loaded, and Worster flies out to left. And Maddie McLaren comes in to make the catch, but 1 run for the Panthers on 2 hits. No errors, and Creston leaves the bases loaded in the top of the 6th inning. We go to the bottom half. Fredrickson with a no-hitter going. We're back right after these.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
KS 95.7 is KSWI Atlantic, a proud part of Meredith Communications. KS 95.7.
Welcome back to Atlantic. 2-0 Panther. They scored a run at the top of the 6th. They scored 2 runs and 4 hits. Maddie McLaren at the plate for Atlantic had a bunt foul. As Coach Hinsman, that's her first bunt attempt by Atlantic here in the game. We've seen him play small ball before, and this is the first bunt for the Trojans. 0-1 the count to McLaren, the 8th hitter in the Trojan lineup. Then McKenna Sontag, and then back to the top of the order. Bottom half of the 6th, Fredrickson a no-hitter. She's allowed only 1 base runner, that was a walk. Here's the pitch to McLaren, low and in. The count is 1-1 to Maddie McLaren. The left fielder struck out her first time up. McKenna Sontag on deck, and then McKenna Schrader, the leadoff batter. Taryn Fredrickson the sign. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Low for a ball, 2-1. Trojans down by a pair. You're in the bottom half of the 6th inning looking for base runners. Maddie McLaren. The sign from Coach Hinsman out at third base. Quite animated there. She'll step back in. Sontag warming up in the on-deck circle for Atlantic. 2-1, but fouled. Now the count is 2-2. So Maddie McLaren squared. Tipped it foul left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. to the Trojan left fielder. Made a nice catch to end the inning and get out of that jam with the bases loaded. Now the youngster, just an 8th grader, at the plate for the Trojans. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fredrickson, the eyes, the mitt, wings it in, swung on and fouls it back. Manny McLaren battling here in the bottom half of the 6th. Panthers leading 4-2 in baseball. We're in the bottom half of the 4th there. Creston beat Atlantic the first time out, and a good one. Down at Creston last week. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Change up is high. 3-2 the count to the youngster, Matty McLaren. Matty, right-handed hitter, battling here against this outstanding effort by Fredrickson tonight. A no-hitter so far. 3-2 pitch. Inside for a ball and her second walk, and a second base runner giving up.
McLaren advances first
Still
base.
a no-no going on.
For Atlantic, number 1, McKenna.
She has 10 strikeouts in the game and now 2 walks. Wiederstein walked back in the 2nd, and McLaren walks to lead off the bottom half of the 6th. And the tying run at the plate for Atlantic, and McKenna Sontag, the second base person. Struck out swinging her first time up. Schrader on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of number 6. 1 on and nobody down. Panthers up 2-0. Fredrickson gets the sign. Then she'll wing in the pitch. Here's the bunt attempt. Popped up third base side. And that one just goes foul. Boy, looked like it hit fair and went foul. That's going to be strike 1. 1-1 the count. McKenna Sontag trying to push a runner at second base. We'll see what they do with her here. 1-1 the count. Panthers up 2-0 with the bottom half of the 6th. Matty McLaren at first. Here's the pitch, the bunt. This is a good one. The pitcher, Fredrickson, has it, gobbles it up and fires the first for the out. Throws the second. McKenna Sontag is thrown out at first. McLaren dives safely back at second. So a sack bunt for Sontag, a beauty. Went just to the right side of the circle. Fredrickson able to scoop it up and has a good arm. Threw out Sontag at first. Sack made. McLaren now at second base with 1 out. And the tying run at the plate, and McKenna Schrader with a pop up to short, and she flew out to center. Fredrickson still with a no-hitter. And here's the pitch on the way with 1 out. Another bunt popped up, and it is Marlin coming over to make the grab right near the fence, or Adamson rather, excuse me. Adamson, the catcher, made the catch, and there's 2 down. What a play by Adamson. I mean, she whipped off that mask and got to the fence and made the grab along the right side between home and first, right along the netting, and made the catch for the Panthers. Runner at second, 2 down. Schroeder at the plate, swings and misses. Glad he got a piece of that. Kirchhoff on deck. Matty McLaren at second base. She walked and was punched to second on a sack bunt by Sontag. Schrader popped it up and caught by Adamson, the catcher. 2 down, the bottom half of the 6th. 2-0 Panthers. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 10 strikeouts so far for Taryn Fredrickson. She's walked a pair, allowed no runs and no hits. The 2 base runners for Atlantic, Wiederstein and McLaren. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Count 0-2 with 1 on and 2 down here in the 6th inning. Kirchhoff on deck, struck out and flew to center. Schwartz hits the second slot for Atlantic. Struck out and ground out. McLaren at second base. Here's the 0-2 pitch with 2 down. Here it is. Swung on, foul back. 0-2. Aaron Fredrickson had 2 strikeouts in the first. She had a pair in the second. 2 more in the third. 1 in the fourth, and she struck out 3 in the 5th. 10 total. Pair of walks. 0-2. Fouled straight back. Count remains 0-2 to Schroeder. Battling. She's a tying run at the plate for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Claire Schroeder, right-handed batter, hitting .244 coming in. And she was 10 of 41 at the plate. She's now 10 of 43, and that's a strike 3 call. What a job by Fredrickson. Strikeout number 11. And that's it for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the 6th. Panthers with a 2-0 lead. We're back in a minute.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Winnie Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
You back on the road and keeping you there. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Panthers with a 2-run lead, 2-0. Taryn Fredrickson, a no-hitter for Creston. Allowed no runs, no hits. She's walked a pair. There's just been 2 base runners for the Trojans. They'll get another shot at her in the bottom half of the 7th. But the Panthers looking for some padding here, up 2-0. 2 runs and 4 hits for Creston. Adamson, who had a great play from behind the plate, will lead off the 7th, the leadoff batter for Creston. McLaren has pitched well. 2 runs and 4 hits. Here's the pitch. Hot shot to short. Gobbled up by Kirchhoff, but it's going to be an infield hit. That one was stopped by Kirchhoff, and we'll give Adamson a hit there, as that was able to almost squirt through. And there's one on, and nobody down for the Panthers at the top of the 7th. Kirchhoff had to go to her left, able to knock it down. That was headed towards center field. Staver at the plate. Adamson 1 for 4 now, scored a run. Staver is officially 0 for 2 with a walk. With 1 on and nobody down, top of the 7th, 2-0 Panthers. McLaren in the circle, gets the side, she'll wing it. That's low for a ball. The count is 1-0. Avery Staver, the right-handed hitter. Panthers scored a run in the 1st when Adamson reached on an error and scored on Fredrickson's RBI double. The other run came here in the 6th inning as Marla hit by a pitch and was driven home by Coons. Ground balled in the hole. Knocked down by Kirchhoff. Rounding second is Adamson, and runners at second and third. Kirchhoff had to go to her left and couldn't quite gather it in. So Adamson goes to third. Staver to second. An error on the Trojans, and now there's going to be 2 on and nobody down here in the top of the 7th. And Coach Hinsman is going to head out to talk to his troops here in the top of the 7th inning with Taryn Fredrickson at the plate, who was 1 for 3. That RBI double back in the 1st. He popped up in the 3rd and lined out to short back in the 6th inning. So Coach Hinsman in the circle talking to his infield. And Fredrickson will step in. Fredrickson started the game hitting .350 on the year. The Panthers were hitting .361 as a team. Fredrickson 14 of 40 through the first 13 games, not counting the doubleheader win over Denison Sleswig last night. 16 RBI for Fredrickson. She had a couple of home runs on the season, 3 doubles and 9 singles, and she's got 2 on. Runners at second and third with nobody down here in the top of the 7th. Adamson at third base, Avery Staver at second. Fredrickson at the plate for the Panthers. They lead 2-0. McLaren in the circle. Here's the sign, here's the pitch on the way. Out Soap gets away from Knuth. She hustles back and saves the runner from coming in at third base. That's Adamson. Nobody down. Coach Harmon's not going to be taking any chances here with that runner at third base, at least this early. We'll see what happens with Fredrickson here at the plate. McLaren back to work. Jersey Foot is on deck, and she's 1 for 3 on the night. 2 on and nobody down for Creston. Top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a hot shot in the hole on left base hit. That'll score 2. 4-0 Panthers. And Fredrickson goes to second. The ball squirts away. We'll get Fredrickson single. 2 RBI. She goes to second on the throw. And Adamson and Staver both score, and the Panthers lead 4-0.
Courtesy runner brought in on
here in the top of the 7th inning.
Donald, the sophomore.
So the batter for Creston is Jersey Foot, a right-handed hitter. McDonald running at second base for Fredrickson. Taryn Fredrickson with a no-hitter and 3 RBI in the game. Just 3 of the 4 runs here in the ball game, and a no-hitter going into the bottom half of the 7th. 4-0 Panthers here. Jersey Foot 1 for 3. Single to back in the 4th, was left at second base. 1-1 the count. 1 on and nobody down, and 2 in. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Panthers. The pitch. Low and in for a ball. Count 1-1. Atlantic will be off tomorrow. They'll host Glenwood here on Thursday. Head to Creston for the tournament Friday and Saturday. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jersey Foot. Here's the pitch. That's in the dirt. There goes the runner. Throw to third. Nice throw by Knuth, and they get the runner. Good job by Avery Knuth. Guns it down the third base side. And they get McDonald trying to score third.
That's Claire Schroeder.
Well, I tell you what. Nice throw by Olivia Knuth. And now there's 1 out for the Panthers here in the top of the 7th inning. The bases are empty. Nobody on, 1 out and 2 in. Foot the batter. Good arm by Knuth and a tag by Schroeder at third. 2 balls and a strike to Foot. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Pop up, playable. McKenna Sontag at second makes the grab, and there's 2 down. That'll bring up Evie Marlin. Marlin scored 1 of the 4 runs for Creston. Ground out of the first inning, flew out to right of the 4th, and hit by a pitch and scored in the 6th. Panthers 4 runs on 6 hits. They have 1 on, or nobody on, and 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Evie Marlin at the plate. Third baseman for Creston. McLaren wings it in. Swung on, hit right to center field. Schrader there to make the catch for Atlantic. Well, after 2 runs come in, the Trojans able to retire Creston. And a line drive to center field, and Schrader was right there to make the grab. As the Panthers were able to score 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 error by the Trojans, and nobody left on base. 4-0 Panthers. Atlantic comes to work in the bottom half of the 7th, still looking for their first hit of the game.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Trojans get a base hit here to lead off the bottom half of the 7th inning, and that'll ruin Taryn Fredrickson's no-no. Dylan Paul will stand in as Kirchhoff breaks the no-hitter with a single up the middle. 1 on and nobody down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Kirchhoff 1 for 3. Ball the batter. Struck out twice. Here's the pitch on the way, swung on, popped up, down the first base side, and that went out of play on top of the first base dugout. Panthers up 4-2 as the Trojans come to bat in the bottom half of the fifth. So Kirchhoff, the runner at first base, Atlanta getting their first hit. 11 strikeouts for Fredrickson. She's walked a pair. Dylan Ball at the plate, a couple of strikeouts, looking for a hit here with a count 0-1. Creston up 4-0. Here's the pitch and a low one in. And the count is 1-1. Kirchhoff back to first. 1-1 the count to Dylan Ball, a right-handed hitter, the right fielder for the Trojans. Fredrickson waits for her to get set. Fredrickson works quick. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Dylan Ball hitting .370 coming in. Now 17 of 48 of the season at the plate. 13 singles, 4 doubles, 14 RBI for the young freshman for Atlantic. Kirchhoff at first, 2-1 the count. And the pitch on the way, swung on, popped up infield. Second base person there and makes the grab as Strider.
Second base top line.
1 out for the Trojans and a pop-up. So the batter's going to be
Now brings in
Lila Wiederstein. So Wiederstein batted back in the second inning, and she walked and then was run for. So Staver makes the catch at second, Avery Staver. Kirchhoff, the runner at first base. That pitch to strike called. The count is 0-1. 4-0 Panthers. We're on the Trojan side of the seventh. This do or die for Atlantic with 1 on and 1 out, down by 4 runs. Here's the pitch coming. Fastball's a strike, 0-2. Taryn Fredrickson works ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Atlantic 1 hit in the game. That's Kirchhoff at first base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the seventh. And the pitch to Wiederstein on the way. Swing and a miss. A big strikeout for Fredrickson. Number 12 for Fredrickson. Now there's 2 down and Panthers 1 out away here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Peyton McLaren will step in. Peyton popped up and struck out for the Trojans. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic. Bottom half of the 7th, Panthers up 4-0. Here's the pitch on the way, low for a ball. Count 1-0 to Peyton McLaren, who's pitched the distance for Atlantic, allowing 4 runs on 6 hits. 3 of those runs batted in by the pitcher, Taryn Fredrickson. 1-0 pitch, popped up, maybe playable. Down the first base side, in comes Kenny Strider, makes the grab, and that'll be it for the Trojans. No runs, but they got a hit. No errors, and they left to 1. And a shutout for Taryn Fredrickson and the Panthers, 4-0 over the Trojans here in Atlantic. We'll wrap it up and back in 2 minutes on 95.7 FM, our live video stream at WesternIowaToday.com.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
For body to get your body back to the basics.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
As busy as we all seem to be, no one has time for a breakdown. So here's the key. Pay attention to the early signs of transmission issues. If you notice problems, call 2nd Street Auto. Ignoring these symptoms can only lead to very costly repairs. Check engine light on, knocking, late to shift, stall, or slip. Save yourself the headache and money and get into 2nd Street Auto today. If you run into problems and can't get on the road, 2nd Street Auto is not going to let you down. If you're in the KSOM KS95 listing area, your tow is free. 2nd Street Auto in Atlantic, getting you back on the road and keeping you there. Welcome back to Atlantic as the Panthers shut out the Trojans by the score of 4-0. Just an outstanding pitching effort by Taryn Fredrickson, allowing no runs on one hit here in the ball game. And they ended up with 4 runs and 7 hits here in the game. As we look at the Panthers line, Ava Adamson went 1 for 4. And Taryn Fredrickson went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. She had a double and a single. Jersey Foot 1 for 4. Mila Coons 1 for 3. Sydney Staver 2 for 3 at the batter's box for the Panthers. A lone hit for Atlantic came from Zoe Kirchhoff in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Otherwise, Taryn Fredrickson with 11 strikeouts. She walked a pair, allowed no runs on one hit, pitched a one-hitter all the way, no-hitter through 6, and just allowed 3 base runners for the Trojans tonight, and what a job by the Panthers. Recapping the scoring, Creston's Ava Adamson led off with an error at first base, and then Taryn Fredrickson had a double and RBI, and that made it 1-0. They added another run in the 6th and 2 more in the 7th, and to make the score 4-0 here over the Trojans here this evening. And we are joined by Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman, and I'll tell you, Coach, it was just a really good effort by Fredrickson. Your thoughts on the contest?
Yeah, she's one of the top pitchers in the state, and we knew that was going to happen coming in. I don't know, our approach at the plate probably wasn't the best of things that we had, and her movement pitches really baffled our hitters a little bit. But I thought as the second, third time through the lineup, we probably did a little bit better getting some base runners on and at least threatening to put a run across the plate. But unfortunately, against one of the better pitchers, we struggled a little bit with our young lineup.
Coach, talk about the pitching of Peyton McLaren, though. Not a bad effort,
No, Well, we go into the 6th inning with 1 unearned run. I thought she did a great job. If you probably told the listeners about how many home runs that they have and how they hit 4. The ball, all against us. But I mean, if you look at the total that they have
23
on the season,
coming in.
They hit the ball hard, and we saw parts of that, but Peyton did a pretty good job of keeping some really, really good hitters off balance and giving us a chance to win the ball game. Because, like I said, going into even into the 7th when we were only down 2 runs, just put a few things together, and who knows, but. It's disappointing, but it's not like we lost to a team that's at the bottom of the conference or the bottom of the state.
Well, we recapped here. When you look at last year, it was Clarinda, Creston, Atlantic, and that's how it's kind of mapping out again this year. Those 3 teams, you and Clarinda and Creston, at the top of the heap, and you'll see Clarinda coming up, I believe, next week.
Yeah, kind of it's the stupidest conference schedule I've ever seen. I don't know who the hell put it together, but Jesus, give me a break. We played these guys last week, and then we turned right around and play them again, and then we play Clarinda, and we turned them right around and play them again, and we got double headers on the road like crazy, and this is our first conference home game, so I don't know who the moron was that put it together, but he's an idiot. Thursday, home against Glenwood. Talk about that. Yeah, we went over there. Again, it's that same week thing. So, I thought that was one of the games where we left some runners on base that I thought that we could break that game open, and we didn't. So, there's some things that we got to work on, obviously. Like I told the girls after leaving Creston here, good teams expose your weaknesses pretty quick, and those are things that we can go back and take and work on for one of the rare practices that we actually have as a team. We do some individual stuff, but rare practices tomorrow, and hopefully be ready for Glenwood.
And, of course, the tournament coming up on Friday and Saturday, good competition there.
Yeah, and I really feel that the better the competition that we play, the better we're going to be when it rolls around to tournament time. Winterset and need I say more? I mean, they're always, I know the record isn't quite what it normally is, but I don't think that's going to matter very much. And Ankeny, 5A, they're battling. They're seeing good teams and good pitching the whole time. And Bondurant Farrar up in 4A is ranked pretty high. I think it's 5th or something like that. And we didn't get a chance to play Lennox at the beginning of the season because of Memorial Day, but we get a chance to see them to wrap up the tournament down in Creston. So, hopefully we can come away with a few victories there as well.
Very good, Coach. Thanks for stopping by. Best of luck on Thursday.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tom. Thanks for being here tonight.
You bet. Nice night, Hall of Fame night here in Atlantic. And again, congrats to Shelley Glenn Pellet for being inducted into the Atlantic Trojan Softball Hall of Fame. Well, that'll wrap things up for us here. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Once again, the final score, Creston 4, Atlantic nothing. Trojans will play Glenwood on Thursday right back here at home. We'll have the baseball game on 95.7 FM and live video stream at westerniowatoday.com. And then Atlantic will head to Creston on Friday. Panthers will take on Red Oak in a doubleheader on Thursday. Thanks for joining us, and a good night from